If Hamas, as part of the second phase, is completely disarmed, as the US and Israel demand, then what mechanism will actually deter Israel from violating Palestinian rights or the future agreements? What will be the guarantee that Israel will abide by rules?
In military terms, Hamas has never been a deterrent factor against Israel because there is no match between Israeli military power supported by the American military power and the Hamas military power. Although Hamas was resisting against occupation, but it's not a deterring. You know, at best, it can be a disturbing factor for Israel, but it cannot be a deterrent factor. Hamas security forces was good enough to run the entire Gaza and to provide local security and policing. But when it comes to deterring Israel, you know, Israel was and has always been a position whenever they would like to do a military operation, they were conducting.
Then, regardless of Hamas military presence, but is there still a plan to create a mechanism that could deter Israel from violating the agreements?
One of the provisions is suggesting a creation of ISF, International Stabilization Force. You know, this is important. If that can be implemented, I think it will help both Israel and the Palestinians, to make sure that nobody is attacking the other party, and there is no risk of violating the security agreements. That will be a new chapter in Palestinian question.
So while you're talking about international stabilization force, will Turkey contribute to troops in Gaza as a part of international stabilization force despite Israeli opposition?
Well, again, it's subject to comprehensive negotiations. As you know, Mr. Netanyahu has been objecting Turkey's participation to Board of Peace. We've been invited and we participated, and inclusion of my name into Gaza Executive Committee. Yet we are there because we are, together with Egypt, Qatar, and United States, we are core members of mediation group. So our present position to make whatever possible to contribute to the ongoing peace process in Gaza, whether humanitarian form, whether military form, whether political form. Now, if we are asked, we are ready to provide military units to ISF.
So, just briefly, is there any realistic path to restoring a full Turkey-Israel political normalization, or is the rupture now structural?
Well, when we, entered the recent episode of relations between Turkey and Israel, we made it very clear. When we were cutting the trade with Israel, we made it very clear. As long as the war continues and no humanitarian assistance is allowed to enter Gaza, we will not restart our trade. It tells something. Our problem is not with Israel. Our problem is with the Israelis' policies in the region, especially towards the Palestinians, and the recent one, especially the genocide in Gaza.
So you think that the rupture is not structural, but it's conditional?
Conditional,
I see that. So moving on, Iran-US tensions. You just recently warned that Israel may be looking for an opportunity to strike Iran. What indicators are you basing that assessment on? And also, what do you think such an attack would aim to achieve? Deterrence, degradation, or regime change?
I think the primary objective of Israel would be to destroy some of critical capabilities of Iranian military.
So they're not up to the regime change?
Well, they would like to do that, but I don't know if they can do it because it's up to the people. It's not up to an outside military intervention. And the Iranian people, at the time of war and attack from outside, especially coming from Israel, they always unite around their leaders.
But when you said Israel may be looking for an opportunity to strike Iran, was that based on your reading of the situation, or there were some indicators that you based your assessment on?
Well, I don't want to go into the details of how I reach these assessments, but anybody who is judging what happened the 12th Day War, I think, can easily reach these understandings, and I don't want to do more military elaboration. But one thing that I want to say on this subject is, it's wrong. It's wrong to attack on Iran. It's wrong to start the war again. Iran is ready to negotiate on nuclear file again. Once you start, my advice always to the American friends, close the files one by one with Iran. Start with nuclear, close it, then the other, then the other.
Not get it as a package.
Yeah, I mean, if you put them as a package, all of them, it will be very difficult for our Iranian friends to digest and to really process it and to go through this. And sometimes it might seem humiliating, for them. It will be very difficult to explain to not only themselves but to the leadership. So if we can make things, better tolerated, I think it will help.
Foreign Minister, some analysts argue that a new regional order is emerging where the U.S. works mainly with the strong central states while sidelining the non-state actors. So where does Iran fit, or where should it fit in that picture?
Well,
so no place for Hamas, no place for SDF, no place for Hezbollah, no place for proxies. But where does Iran fit in that picture?
Well, Iran actually can fit in a perfect place, can fit. I'm not talking about the current status quo, but the ability and capability that Iran can perform. When I was in Iran, 2 months ago, I was very frank with my Iranian friends because they need to create a trust in the region. They need to pay attention how they are pursued by the regional countries because they are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. Why this is important? Because no matter what our different ideologies and regimes and sectarians and everything else within the nation states system, we have to know how to cooperate and how to work together in our region.
To encourage them for more regional cooperation.
Yes, but to be able to do so, they need to give up from certain practices, certain policies.
Well, talking about the regional arrangements or regional engagement. So after the Israeli strike on Doha, many questioned the reliability of the U.S. security umbrella. So do you believe now the Gulf and the region need their own security arrangements?
Yes, they need. They need not because to be deterrent against any threat. They need to create the fundamental and ultimate trust between themselves.
So it's about trust building rather than deterrence.
Absolutely. I mean, deterrence will come only second. Because when you engage, commit yourself to someone else's security, that it is the ultimate trust. So the problem in our region, lack of trust between nation states in the region. So if we manage to increase the trust between nations, it will help bring stabilization, peace, no domination, no Turkish domination, no Arab domination, no Farsi domination, no other domination. The regional countries are coming together, acting responsibly. Look at how European Union has managed to form itself from scratch to today. Why not us?
Last year, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed a massive defense pact. And as now Turkey is preparing to join it, what kind of shared threat perception compelled you to come together? And do you believe some other countries in the region will also follow the case and join this defense pact?
Well, I think any pact in the region should be more inclusive. This is important. Otherwise, we don't want to be divisive. We don't want to create another camp. We want to create a regional solidarity platform This should be the objective. It can start with 2-3 countries, but in due course, if it evolves into something all-encompassing, including most of the countries of the region, that will be ideal. And that will serve the ultimate purpose.
But what was the shared threat perception that compelled you to come together?
Well, first of all, we saw that in the absence of regional solidarity, we always need a hegemon. When hegemon comes to your power to sort out the problems, most of the time when they leave, things they leave behind is worse than when they come. And secondly, they ask for their invoice. You've got to pay them.
It comes with a cost.
Big cost. So, and plus, it is not also serving the national interest of the hegemon either. So, I mean, we've seen this in the case of the United States and other hegemons in the region. So we've got to be able to sort out our own problems. We have to show regional ownership.